Good morning, all the students. This is your class of Human Values and Environmental Sustainability. And we are going to start with Unit 4. Unit 4 is about human use of the earth. In this, we'll be discussing about sustainable development practices, the three principles of sustainable development, and why sustainable development is important for us. Why should we study about sustainable development? This is already a very famous topic and a topic of discussion in various seminars and conferences in reputed institutions and different platforms. Institution, if I talk about, then IITs, IIMs, already they are talking a lot about sustainable development practices because this is one of the concern regarding environment. Another different corporates, different NGOs, and the different organization across the world, they are involved in this discussion and doing a lot of research and innovations in this area of sustainable development. So let's see how exactly we can contribute and we can discuss on this topic and how much enlightenment we can receive with this discussion. So I'll share the presentation to all of you. I'm going to share the screen. Yes. So this is Unit 4 and the human use of the earth and sustainable practices we are going to discuss about. The objective of this unit is about what exactly sustainability means. So you'll get to know what do we mean by the term resources. You will also get to know the link between population growth and our use of the world's resources. You will also know what the term sustainable development means. You will also get to know a lot of examples about the ways in which different places and people in the world are connected with each other and they understand the term think global, act local. That means we have to connect people across the world. We should gather their ideas and insight about this particular topic, but we have to apply that locally in our community, in our country. That's the main purpose of this sustainable development and to discuss about this topic. So moving ahead, I would first like to talk about the resources. When I talk about resources, all of you maybe somewhere understand this part that like other living beings to live, human also needs some various resources. From those, food and shelter are the foremost one. Now, it used to happen 1,000 years ago that food and shelter were the basic needs of the human being and they did not require much more apart from these needs. But nowadays our needs are expanded. Now we are not just limited to satisfy our food needs and home. Now we have approached towards achieving luxurious items, maybe advanced cycle, maybe electricity, or we cannot imagine our life without internet. But to make these things available, resources such as fossil fuels and metals are required. Because to manufacture such products, to make these things, these resources available, we need some raw materials. Many resources out of these are limited. Of course, fossil fuels are not limitlessly available in our earth, and different minerals and sediments, they are also not very much available forever. So think if we extract all fossil fuels from the earth and finish it off, then do you have any idea how it would affect our coming generation? Think. Horrible, right? So before we deplete the natural resources, we need to think that how exactly we can adopt certain practices, that we need to think about sustainable development, that we can ensure that we are not depleting the resources completely. So with this session, before I start talking about sustainable development, I would like to first take your attention towards the resources. Resources, you must be studying about resources from your school time. But if we start, because resource is one of the base for the sustainable development discussion. So again, to remind things, to revise certain things in your mind, if we discuss about the meaning of the resource, then can we say that resource is something that can be used for purpose, that some things which can be consumed, and resources are the materials, energy, services, any staff, knowledge, skills, or any asset that are transformed to produce benefits and then can be consumed and satisfy the need. Can I say that human is also a resource? How can I say so? Because when human are employed in different organizations, staff members do their duty in different organization. That means they are giving their labor, they are giving their skills to the organization, and organizations are utilizing those labor and skills to get some benefit out of those, to get some profit out of those. So those are again resources. So simply, resources are tools and materials and assets which can be used, consumed to get some needs satisfied. So there may be human resources, natural resources, economic resources, and etc. But do you think whenever we need resources to be used, we need to convert those raw resources to get into some refined products? And for that purpose, we need two elements, that are resources and activities. Here, if I talk about activities, that means the process that I need to convert that raw resource into some finished products. If I talk about water, if I want water for drinking purpose, I cannot just go to some river or ocean and I drink that water. I want a filtered and refined water so that I can drink that. Now this water is just raw resource for me that I can get from different river or ocean or sea or pond. But I want to convert it for my finished product that I can use. And for that I need to process it, I need to filter it. So in this process, once I process the resource and get the finished product, now that I can consume that product, that means I'm consuming that resource. But in this process, do you think this is the end of this process or something come out of it? This waste is another element that come out from this filtration process. Now how? Resources that we filter, for example, like crude oil, that is processed to get fuel. Now, if we process the crude oil and we get fuel like gasoline, diesel, petrol, so there are a lot of other wastes are also produced. Those waste we call crude oil waste may include some spilled crude oil or unrefined petroleum from pipelines. Or if we talk about some chemical industry, if some processing is being done in the chemical industry, a lot of wastes come out from that industry as well. So there are three aspects whenever we receive some finished product. First of all, raw resources are depleted, consumed basically. Some process is included there, and then wastes come out from this process. So this is a whole system that happens, this is the whole operation happens whenever any resources need to be consumed, that to be make available for you as a finished product. And the waste also is one of the aspect that is associated in this whole operation that cannot be avoided, and this is common in all the process of using the resources. Now coming to the next point, we all know that coal, oil, gas, and minerals, these are the resources which are not abundantly available on the earth, and they are available on the earth in a very limited perspective. It's not that it is available forever. Coal, oil, and gas, of course, they are fossil fuels. We dig up coal and drill for oil, and then burn the coal and oil to generate the electricity. Now, again, what did we do? We had the raw material, coal, oil, gas, and minerals, but we did some process, and then we converted that raw material in the electricity so that we can use this finished product. China has 121 gigawatts of coal plants under construction. which is more than as being built in the rest of the world combined. That means China is so much into construction of coal plants. It has already been said that coal is not is very limited resource that is available on the earth. It's not something that is available forever, and it cannot be recycled and renewed. More than 1,000 new coal plants are planned worldwide, with about 3/4 of these in China. So China is so much into the construction of coal plants, and can we predict that if so much construction of a coal plant is happening, we should be concerned about whether China is burning more coal in the future. Of course, why they are constructing so many coal plants to use that coal in future, and until the coal is burnt, it cannot be used. So do we expect, can we predict the effect on the climate, the air pollution? That would be humongous. So this is one of the matter of concern globally. If one country into some one practice, that practice is not just affecting that country or giving benefit to that country, that may have some adverse effect to other countries as well on the globe. Next, I'm going to talk about the resources which are available in seas and oceans. Do you know that every year we catch 77 billion of fishes? We first know that 70% of the earth's surface is water, that is covered by water, and a lot of species, aquatic fish species are available in the water, maybe in sea, ocean, river, pond. And what do? We human being catches fishes, and because this leads to a lot of business, and many people are employed into this fish catching business, and a lot of other business processes are going on. But you know that every year we catch 77 billion of fishes, and how it is adversely affecting the fish species, because due to this fish catching process, many fish species are endangered today. We don't have, of course, any right to treat any species like this. So can you just imagine how this will impact, this type of fishing can impact on the resources of the seas? There may be some of course endangered fishes would be there, and big fishes of course require small fishes as their prey. So somewhere the human activity, human indulgence into this whole nature's process, the way human wants to satisfy its need, and not just in the form of to consume fish as a food, but it's of course a very big business is going around with this fish catching process. Human beings are just overindulging into the ecosystem within the under the water. So a lot of agencies, of course, fortunately a lot of agencies are working to save fishes, and a lot of government policies and regulations are there to just impose a limit on fish catching process and number of fish that you can catch. And of course there is a license that government provide to the fish catchers, that they have to follow certain guidelines and regulations. So this was about the marine life that I wanted to discuss. Third, I want to discuss about the forest. Of course, we all know, and since our childhood, we have been listening about the importance of trees in our life, importance of trees on the earth. But now a time, I mean, this time we have been just listening about it. But how much do they practice about to save the trees? Why do we use trees? Why do we cut trees basically? To build stores, to construct houses, offices, corporate offices, and we clean the land area so that we can have luxurious buildings. We can have a very amazing corporate offices, and that may have some wooden furnishings, papers to get to prepare papers. We also would require wood to clear land for agricultural use. We also do deforestation for agricultural purpose. Also some fencing and decorating gardens. So due to this, I hope you must be listening from quite long back, that due to this some animals are losing their homes. because of course wild animals need to stay in forest itself, and this could decline in number of the wild animals because of course they would be losing their shelters. That's why this wildlife sanctuaries and national parks are there into being, but still it's not that into that extent that it should be. We are lowering our air supply because we all know that how trees help us in purifying the air. This all not only purifying the air, this also prevent the soil erosion. When any flood comes, wherever the trees are more, they can catch, the root of the trees can catch the soil around it, and this can avoid the soil erosion. Also, it contribute in water cycle. The precipitation process happens whenever water cycle we talk about, and the areas where there are more trees, more rain happens, and this will of course, this is one of the blessing to the farmland where more rain happens. Also, for some medicinal purpose, we use trees and wildlife shelter, of course. So what are we doing? We know the use of trees, abundant use of trees in our life, and we also know that how it is contributing for the climate purification and for flourishing the climate, basically. Because we can live in the house, we can have furnitures, but until we have a pure air, what will we breathing? So that's why we all understand the importance of trees, but still in 2017, there was a survey done and it was found that 3.5 billion to 7 billion trees are cut down per year. And seriously, this is a matter of great concern. We know the importance of trees in our life. Just to satisfy our luxurious life, we are cutting down so many trees. Not only one country is responsible, but whole globe, whole earth is responsible. Different countries are responsible for this tree cutting process. So these are the certain resources which I wanted to again sensitize you about, that how resources are available on the earth and how human activity is indulging into this whole process for consuming the resources to satisfy its need. That's why before sustainable development meaning and before discussing on sustainable development, I just discussed about these resources and again sensitize you towards it. That we, from the very beginning, we're talking about the resources, but how it is impacting now isn't, and what are the different areas of concern and how human activity is depleting the resources. So now we are going to talk about the sustainable development. Sustainable development, before sustainable development, if we talk about the terms development, this means that making life better. We feel that I am a developed person. That means I am contributing to my life for its betterment. We can have a better standard of living and an improved quality of life. When we call a better standard of living, that means we are technologically advanced. We are utilizing resources which are being utilized by the common people in the society. I have more luxurious item with me. That's why I'm called developed. I am trying to have somewhere, if people think that they are contributing, the perspective they have about their betterment of their life, maybe it is related to the health, maybe it is related to the luxurious life, or any perspective that they feel that their life is getting better, that makes them understand that my life is developed. Also, if you talk about the quality of life, so someone feels like if they have all the materialistic thing in their life, that means their quality of life is increased. And maybe some perception of other people regarding that they are leading to some healthy life, they are including yoga and exercises and workouts in their life, that means they are leading to some quality life. Or if people around them in the society are connected to the people, they are feeling that they are more acceptable in the society, that means they are leading to quality of life. So meaning of development is different for different people based on their perception. But here, if I talk about development in terms of sustainable development, that clearly means making sure that the things we do, the goods we buy, and the lifestyle we have today, this simply tells that whatever we are doing today, whatever we are purchasing today, whatever lifestyle that we have adopted today, that should not harm the environment around us. or the people in the other places. My activity, my lifestyle should not affect the people around me, this environment around me, or people who are staying at other places, and the people who are going to come in future, that are called the future generation. So simply, resources should be utilized in a very sustainable manners. That should not be overutilized or overconsumed. It should be utilized in a limited manner so that it is not adversely affecting others' life and the life of the future generation. In other words, again, the sustainable development meets the need of the meeting the need of the present. That means I am meeting my needs which are presently of is my priority, and I am not also compromising the ability of the future generation. That means future generation is able to satisfy their need, but because I have depleted all the resources, they have ability, still they don't have resources, that's why they cannot meet their need. So my concern should be limited use of resources, and the way, the practices that I should adopt, that should be utilized, that should be adopted in a way that should not adversely affect the people around me and the future generation people. So this is about the sustainable development. See, I have very elaborately discussed about the meaning of the sustainable development because this is the base for upcoming sessions and upcoming discussions. And until you understand the meaning, you won't be able to understand the upcoming discussions, which are very in-depth discussion, and topics are also very in-depth. As this topic is included in our discussion because already at very big platform at global level, a lot of organizations are working for sustainable development practices. As a student, you should also know, because you are going to work in different corporates, you should know how, and your understanding about sustainable development would contribute to the organizational development, because somewhere it is mandate and obligation on the corporates as well to adopt sustainable practices. So if you already know certain aspect of sustainable practices and its importance in terms of not development of the society or just environmental concern, but also how it will give an edge to the organization, then it would be a different understanding and knowledge for you in this area. And with your own ideas and insights, you would be able to contribute to the idea generation in the organization where you are going to work. So next, in this few other points that I'll be discussing, that is how exactly we are going to talk about sustainable development is looking at level of consumption and waste. Whenever I am consuming any resource, maybe it is water, maybe it is food, maybe it is any mineral or any fossil fuel, I need to see that whether it is required to be consumed in this extent or not. If I'm using water for drinking purpose, I need to see that how I am using it. If because of my filtration, any other waste of water is happening or not. If I'm using water for washing clothes or for washing my utensils, I need to see the other adverse effect of using the way of the water I am using on am I wasting water much. So you need to, of course to satisfy your basic needs, you need to consume the resources, but you need to see the way you are consuming it. If you're washing your hand, do you see that meanwhile you close the tap when you are just applying soap on your hand, or you are continuously, your water is flowing from the tap? So the way of your consumption need to be focused upon. And second thing is waste. The waste that is getting out of from your consumption, that you also need to take care of it. Why we are talking about plastic bags should be avoided? Because we are using plastic bags, later on we are throwing it in the dustbin, and that is of course contributing to the environmental damages. So both we have to ponder upon, consumption as well as the waste coming out of it. Second point is thinking about our careful use of the earth's resources. Now earth's resources have already discussed: fossil fuels, coal, oil, and different metals that we are using, different stones, rock, minerals that are available on the earth. So have already given you example of China's digging out the coal, and they are constructing the coal plants such a rapid manner. So not only just consumption we have to think of, we have to think that limited resources which are available on earth which cannot be renewed. Solar energy, which is unlimited, which is available on unlimited, and we can use it and we can consume it, right? But things which are not renewable and which are not possible to renew, that need to be taken care of. Realizing that we are each responsible for our actions, and that what we do can have a huge effect on other people and places. We also need to realize that whatever action we are doing, if we are throwing plastic in the garbage, that action need a revision or review. And that if I am throwing this plastic in the garbage, how is it affecting other people, animal, or places? Because a lot of time it has been shown that those plastic bags are directly consumed by the cow, seeing that something that is there in the plastic. So they completely eat that plastic along with the material, food material inside the plastic, and that is damaging, that get stuck into their intestine. So our action should also be reviewed, not only consumption level or taking care of Earth's resources, whatever action, how I'm using the fuel, petrol in my car. Do I stop it? Or is it affecting other people as well, because I'm polluting the air? So your each and every action and practice are also important to be taken care of. So very importantly, and last, I would like to say that one person can, of course, make a difference, and everybody should try. This is a saying of JF Kennedy. He has given a very important and very crucial message, that we keep saying that how would I make a difference? I'm a single person. My one step, how would it make an impact on the whole globe? And if everyone start thinking that my step may make some difference, then of course that difference would be huge in perspective of the sustainable development practices. So certain aspect on importance of sustainable development, quickly I will take it. Importance, why sustainable development, we should talk about this. Of course, fulfill the need of the people, that we need, of course there are certain basic need that we need to take care of it. We need to conserve natural resources, also helps in the coordination between the natural resources and people. That means if I start taking care of the natural resources, there would be a good coordination between both. Conserving natural resources for future generation, I need to just not think about my need, I should conserve the natural resources so my future generation can also use it. Using recycled materials, when I am using recycled material, I am not contributing any waste to the environment. Things can be perishable and that should be used. So every time if I am recycling something, I am not contributing much waste to the environment. So this was all about today's session, and in next session what I'll be discussing about is the 3 pillars of sustainable development. 3 pillars of sustainable development are society, economy, and environmental. And now that you understand what do we mean by sustainable development, you will be better able to understand the pillars which are segregated by different scholars and researchers, how we go about the sustainable development. It's not about just environment sustainable development. When I'm talking about sustainable development, it's also about the society and economy development as well. So this was all about today's session. What basically we covered about meaning of sustainable development, the meaning of resources, different resources which are available on the earth, how can we ensure that those resources should be utilized properly, importance of those resources, and basic meaning of the sustainable development. In next session, I'll be covering 3 pillars of sustainable development. Thank you.